Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rebellion, and a special welcome to our guest Cheryl from Christ-Centered Gamer. And how are you doing, Madame?
Doing good. Just settled in, got home, got from work, so just came home to at least one energetic dog. So it's all good. It's all good.
Oh well, thank you for agreeing to the interview. And would you like to start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. And sure, yeah. Been running Christ-Centered Gamer with my husband for about 23 years. So yeah, time flies. And looking at my YouTube history, I don't know, I did some videos back in 2007, but they weren't even really gaming related. But I never renamed the channel or anything. I just kept rolling with it. So, I think we've been doing steady video content for about 15 years, but otherwise, other little fun factoids, have 3 kids, and we recently moved to Spring Grove on 5 acres, and in the last year have accumulated 24 chickens, and we have 2 dogs, 2 cats, which we've had the cats for a while. One of the dogs for a while. We have 2 bearded dragons, a leopard gecko, and like I don't know, 20 something fish. So a lot
Wow,
of animals here. I like to call it the Ark.
yeah. I like a good lifestyle block. That would be about the size of a lifestyle block around here, I think. Um, my
Yeah.
my parents have about 4 acres, and we've
Oh,
got
nice.
we've got a few sheep. Being New Zealand, of course, we've got sheep. Um,
Oh, cool.
and a few chickens. I think we've got 9 chickens at the moment. So
Nice.
we don't have quite the variety of animals that you have, but a few. Yeah.
The over 5 acres is like the magic number over here. If you have over 5 acres and we're unincorporated, we can pretty much do things without much hassle from the county. So that's cool. Like, I mean, I can't. I not that I want to, or hopefully I don't ever have to, but I should. I can't go shooting guns in the backyard or anything like that. But I can, like, I put the chicken coops up and everything like that, and no issues there. So it's I like the freedom. So yeah, it's good.
Cool. Oh well, how would you describe the content on Christ Gamer channel?
So the actual written or online reviews, we break down games by we give them 2 scores, one for how fun the game is and one for how family friendly the game is. So we'll look at gameplay, graphics, sound, and stability, and how easy it is to pick up the controls. And then, but we'll also look at like how violent they are, how much language is in there, if there's cult supernatural stuff, or just and other moral issues, like drug use, gambling, uh, adultery, stuff like that. But the YouTube videos that we do and the Twitch stream, well, I guess the YouTube videos, they're mostly kind of like first impressions. Like if we get sent like hardware or something like that, we'll do like an unboxing video for that. And um yeah, so we get items. But and then when it comes to streaming, we use a service that streams simultaneously on like Windows, Facebook, YouTube, or not Windows, like just whatever, Twitch,
Yeah.
and it'll do all that simultaneously. And we like to focus on like the first hour of gameplay, because I mean, if a game is like 5 hours long, I don't want to spoil the whole thing. And just like, okay, we'll see what it's like. If you like it, buy it. But I'm gonna save the rest of it, as a surprise. I don't want to spoil games for people. I'm sure they like to hop on to see, is it worth my time to check this game out? Okay, cool. But that's I guess the long and the short of it, and just let people know what is in a game, and just let them make the decision. Like, okay, here's what you expect. This is what we found in there. Up to you if you're comfortable buying it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, the website is, I think, quite a good resource. Having seen some of the reviews on there myself, that having the breakdown of the different moral aspects, I think, is really good. Uh, how does your streaming content relate to the reviews you write on the website there? Does it? Is there some
You know, I
overlap there?
do I do embed the YouTube videos in the review, because I think it's kind of cool if you're reading the review and you actually see like a B-roll of the game or whatever
Yeah.
on there. So I think that's kind of like adds to that. But again, it's like this just like the first hour or so, which I usually sometimes when I'm writing a review, I will go back and then like either watch or listen to the gameplay in the background, like the first hour. I'm like, okay, so that's how the story started, or that's what the background music is like, because I forgot, if it's not a memorable background, or oh yeah. So this is, and sometimes I'll like, oh yeah, look, okay, now it's got, I know what kind of language it has in there or whatever. But I sometimes I'll just like I'll have notes or whatever. But so yeah, it's kind of like the review content. I guess it's just first impressions is pretty much I guess how I would describe it.
Mhm. Cool. So how did you start as a content creator?
Um, well, so the actual website started shortly after my husband and I got married. We got married in like November of '99, and I just can't believe how quickly it was that we started the site. Because we got a game called Ultima 9. And so we bought it, each of us got a copy, $50. So $100, for a newly married couple that doesn't have a whole lot of money, right? So it's kind of a big investment. And we're playing this game and it's like, it's really, music is amazing, graphics are astounding, and then like we're playing it and it's like, oh man, to make magic, you gotta collect reagents, and then you gotta put these reagents around a pentagram and light candles. It's like, I can't play this anymore. I just don't
Mm,
feel comfortable. And then my husband's like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable either. Like, well, there's $100 that's just gone. And like, maybe there's a resource out there. And it's like, I look online. Nah, not really. I shrug my shoulders. It's like, oh, well, nothing really exists. It's like, all right. But then it's just like, I felt convicted. It's like, and I'm like one of those people that like, if God wants me to do something, you got to do like, you got to hit me with a 2x4. And
mhm,
like, I was just getting hounded for like weeks. Like, no, you got to make this. You got to make something out there. So I noticed like, I still like the first domain that we got, it was like a free 20 megabyte service. It was hilarious. And I think it
mm,
still works. It's like I don't know, it's like ccgr.20m.com or something like that. It's like it'll forward over. But yeah, a little 20 meg website I made, which doesn't you can barely hold like what, 4 JPEGs with that now? I don't know. But yeah, hilarious. So yeah, and like and just like back then, like the content, like I've looked, I'm like, oh man, we had so many typos. I had like 2 paragraph reviews, and now we have like the standard, and we 500 word minimum, and like the scoring has to be consistent.
mhm,
So yeah, so that was like how the website came to be, and then with YouTube and stuff like that, we didn't really get much into YouTube. I think until like 2015-ish, I think. I don't know, somewhere about that. But and I remember even like when we were first streaming, I mean, I think we're using like headset microphones, and I like got like, oh, I can barely hear you. You sound like crap or whatever. It was just so it was a work in progress. But yeah, so and like then the videos, I know I have done like a couple of video reviews when I'm comfortable playing with the game. But I just think it's cool to when I do a game stream or whatever. This is like unless other than just like testing a game out to make sure. I mean, there's nothing worse than starting a stream to find out, hey, the game just crashes to desktop because it's not designed to do that. So that's to avoid that embarrassment. I will launch a game, do a test record just to check my microphone volume and making sure I can play the game and have my streaming software running at the same time. But I won't create a save or anything like that. But I'll make sure like the graphics is maxed out, sound and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so we just do first impressions. I just want people to say, "Oh my goodness, this game is I'm getting my butt kicked." All right, let me not turn the difficulty, another level lower or whatever. Like, okay, this is fine. Yeah, I don't care. I have no shame. I'll play on easy. I don't care if I have to. If that's what makes me go through it, fine. But
mm,
I just want the people to have the genuine experience of what we think of a game and what to expect without, I guess, spoiling it too much.
mm.
Long answer, sorry.
That's all good. Yeah. I think you've covered kind of the next question a little bit. Why do you create content and what's your motivation?
So yeah, I just think to just give people an educated buying decision. We try not to be bossy, and it's like, oh my gosh, I felt convicted not to play this game. You shouldn't buy it either. I mean, the one thing I've learned, is everybody has different convictions. I mean, you can talk to Christians. There's some that love Harry Potter, and some that will never watch it or whatever. And it's just the same thing with video games. Some people won't play a game with blaspheming in it, or others won't play a game that's overly violent or promoting, I don't know, LGBTQ stuff or whatever, or just overly, adult themed games or whatever, so everyone's got like different, limits on what they do. And so we just try to point things out and remain neutral. Just, these are the facts. Take it for what it's worth. And now you can make an educated buying decision without. I mean, back then though, you couldn't. I mean, when we launched it, like what, 99, 2000, somewhere around then, you couldn't really return a game. I mean, I guess I think with Steam, you can get like I think you have like 2 hours to return a game or something like that. But back then, you were kind of just stuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. For my experience with that kind of thing is that it's been quite generational. Um, my grandparents are very strict on things. My parents are less strict, but there are some things we weren't allowed to watch as kids. But I mean, as I've got older, the influence, I think cultural influence has got to me a little bit, and I know I've experienced more of that kind of thing than my parents would have allowed themselves to. Um, I'll let myself see more. I don't know. But yeah, it's important that people know exactly what's in a game, I think, in terms of those specific topics. And I'm glad that someone's putting that content out there.
Yeah, I mean, like even though it's we're Christ-centered gamer, we actually have a pretty mixed audience online. So yeah, we have Christians, but we also have like parents and grandparents. I mean, I get emails from my like from grandmas or like, hey, I don't know what do you recommend? My grandson has an Xbox. What should I get him for Christmas that his parents won't get mad at me about or whatever, and we even have like plenty of non-believers on our site. I mean, we get regularly brought up on like 4chan and stuff like that, which I have a service called Mention, so I can tell like if my site gets linked on like 4chan, Reddit, or whatever, like prominent, like on the internet, it'll let me know. And most of the time, by the time I get wind of a 4chan thread, it's like dead, archived, or whatever. But sometimes it's still live, and if it's still live, I'll post.
Yeah.
And and true to 4chan nature, there, you got some not so polite people, or I don't know what they call them, fedora tippers or whatever, or but then you get people coming by and they're like, dude, they're cool, there's the best review site out there. Even just ignore the moral stuff, and the rest of the review is great. So it's really funny just to see how what our audience is like. So it varies. So it's fun.
So, what kind of content do you watch? I suppose you could say play as well because you play a lot of games and that. I suppose what your favorite kind of games and what kind of content, if you do have time to watch content, do you watch?
Uh, well, let's see. As far as games, I do like visual novels, but I like to mix things up. I think I've done like I'm playing like the second visual novel in a row, and it's like, all right, after this, I'm totally gonna switch it up and play something else and probably do like a hack and slash or whatever. I like things with a good story, or like so like RPGs are fun. I really try to avoid online MMOs, as I just don't have the time to commit to something like that. And they are fun. I'm not gonna deny it, but it's like I gotta like review a game, move on, review a game, move on. I don't really have time to go back and enjoy. It's just not a luxury I have with like over 170 games waiting to get reviewed. So it's like I gotta move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So but as far as what I like to watch, well, right now I also try to again, because of time restraints, so we have like one streaming service at a time. So right now we're currently subscribed to Funimation. So my husband and I are watching animes.
Nice.
So I think the current one that we're into, well, a couple of them that were Spy X Family, and then I think we're on like season 6 of My Hero Academia.
Huh,
So
nice. I've been missing out on watching anime. I don't know. I have seasons. I have seasons of watching anime, and then I give up for a bit, and then but
oh,
mostly what I watch is One Piece. So I mean, that's a
oh,
grind.
okay. That's a good one. That's long. I
Yeah.
don't even I know we left off on that one. I don't even know. I think we were probably like 200 something episodes in. But yeah, it's a long one, a long show. And it's funny because you'll hear like the voices. So the same
Mm.
voices are in one. Like I think Zoro from One Piece is the voice actor. I don't know the voice actor's name. I don't my brain doesn't remember stuff like that, but I can just say whoever voice acts Zoro is the same voice actor for like All Might on My Hero Academia. So it's like I can't. you can't unhear some. So it's like, oh, I know that. You also did that. I'm like, where have I heard that voice before? I know it. I know that voice. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, there's a bit of that in the industry, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it's I've watched over 700 episodes of One Piece at this point. So
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not opposed to anime at all.
No, that's cool. That's cool. And like I said, I think my avatar, I use DC from Code Geass. So that's a really good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first anime I watched all the way through was Code Geass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's funny because I think, unfortunately, I had a weird introduction to anime. Like I think I seen like when my husband and I were dating, his friends were watching like Rama One Half, and I'm like, what?
Oh,
That is so weird.
yeah.
That is such a I'm like that's weird. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then like he had a friend in college that like I think his friend ran like the anime club. He's like, dude, what should I show my girlfriend or fiance or whatever I was at the time to get her into anime? And he's like, Azumanga Daioh. And so yeah, I saw Azumanga Daioh. That and I'm like, all right, this is cool. Azumanga Daioh is hilarious. It's like I don't know if you ever seen that one or no.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it's kind of like it's kind of like a Seinfeld. It's like a show about nothing, but it's hilarious. So
Okay. Actually, I
it's
think I know the one. I haven't seen much of it, but yeah. Yeah, yeah. Um,
yeah,
cool.
fun.
Okay. I might as well continue on with the questions. I did have other stuff I wanted to ask and talk
Oh
about
yeah, no
with
worries.
anime, but we probably should move on.
Sorry, this is just an anime episode.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we could talk about it the whole time. Maybe we could do a post interview chat about anime.
Or
Yeah,
when you're promoting, now you can do hashtag anime and you get even more viewers.
yeah, true. Hadn't thought of that, but yeah. Okay, so do you know what your most watched video or stream is?
And it's kind of funny. It is. I have a video. So as I've been, doing this, ChristCenteredGamer Gamer thing for a while, and I've been streaming regular content, but since we moved on to 5 acres, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna like post content. I have a website, farmingadventure.com or whatever, and what I did is I'm like, I'm gonna document my successes and failures, learning how to farm and stuff like that, like and things. So like I have a couple beehives. So yeah, so I forgot like I probably have like whatever 10,000 bees right now. So a lot of mouths to feed here. And so yeah, so I've been documenting things, and I just the chickens are just hilarious. So I have some videos of the chickens. I have a video of like my dog chasing the rooster around the house and stuff like that. But my most popular video, no matter how many I have like hundreds on CCG and maybe I don't know less than 50 on the Farming Adventure channel. But I have a video of my chickens using this omelet egg glue coop, and I was like something like this is the preferred laying spot. And I just zoom. The video's about the chickens are waiting on the stairs to get in. It reminds me of like a Six Flags theme park ride. Like they're waiting in line. Then there's there's like at least one or two chickens in the waiting area, and then there's like two or three chickens in the laying area. And then as I pan around, dog and cat are fighting. As I'm panning around there, and I'm gonna come back to showing the rest of the coop. Like, yeah, here's a big huge coop that they totally ignore, and then I pan back. Oh, look at that, an egg! And that video has like over 120,000 views. I'm like, what on earth? I'm like, I've been doing all these other videos, and like people want to see chickens. They don't want to see me play a video game. They want to see chickens lay eggs. So whatever. I don't know. So I don't know. But that was my most. I don't know how that fell into the favorable algorithm, but there it was, 120,000 something views on that video.
Yeah, yeah, it is. There is quite a big farming community on YouTube, I think, as well. You don't really hear about it because they're not not as loud as some of the gaming communities, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah,
Farmergate or whatever. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. But we've got friends in Australia who run a farming YouTube channel, but they've got a huge farm over there, so it's a lot about the machinery and that they use and the different processes. And they've got quite good production value with that. They've got a drone that they fly over their fields to take
Oh,
air
cool.
shots of what's happening. So
Oh, neat.
that's pretty cool. Um,
Yes.
yeah, but on that topic of
I'm gonna
random farming videos going viral,
I'm
I
gonna
think
kick I'm gonna kick the dog out of the room. He's bothering
Okay.
my cat. Hold on a second. Sorry about
Sure.
this.
It's all good.
Cinnamon,
Anyway,
out you go. Here.
bit of a gap in the episode. We'll try to fill it with talking, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, but yeah, you get to hear some cool cat noises.
It's okay. I'm not sure if it's much if it's actually coming through, so I think it'll be fine. Yeah, well, what I was going to say was that I've made quite a few different kinds of videos, and I was doing a stint where I was making shorts, YouTube shorts, and it was right during the time during lambing season. So I had three lambs I was feeding, and I did a video of feeding some of them, and that was one of the ones that took off on shorts. So animals that people like them. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I can't explain it. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I did some other ones. Like, I mean, I did like one with like I put like sugar water out for the bees, and then like I put the bag out, like, and then I recorded the bees, and like you can see like their little tongues, or whatever, coming lapping up the water. So I thought I'd add like some straw slurping effects because I thought it sounded cool.
yeah,
Yeah, you can have some fun with it, but yeah, it's just funny. It's like I spent all this time making gaming videos, and it's like, oh, people want to watch chickens lay an egg. It's like, okay,
yeah. Oh well, it's how it goes sometimes.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so if you were to create the perfect piece of content, what would that look like?
Ah, perfect piece of content. Well, I guess for me, I think something would be cool. Would be to do like to have like an exclusive. Like if like some developer would say, "Hey, look, we want to let you give you your channel first dibs on like showing what our gameplay is like," or something like that. So I think something kind of that'd be kind of neat. A lot of times, we gotta, abide by an embargo, and by the time, like, that minute that embargo hits, you have, like, 100 videos you're competing against. So just
Yeah,
to have something fresh and exclusive or whatever, that'd be kind of cool.
yeah, that's a interesting aspect I hadn't thought of. Like, I've been talking. I was just talking in the podcast on Zackadee's channel about a guy who does breakdowns of uh basically trailers for different games and that, and he gets into betas and he talks about the beta experience. And I think the same kind of thing would apply in that case. It's about getting in there quickly and giving people information about something new and exciting that they haven't heard of before, or what
Right.
maybe have some link to because it's part of a series. But this is new information. It's there's a quite a big hook in that kind of content, I think. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like there's so many videos and they're all talking about the same thing, but what makes them want to watch yours? So it's
Yeah. Um, I feel like I've missed a question. Anyway,
oh,
it doesn't matter. Um, what do you think YouTube or Twitch or other social media platforms could do to support creators, or smaller creators in particular?
I guess one thing is not set the bar so high to for monetization. My videos are monetized, and then what was a few years ago, they made it so like you have to have like, they have different requirements. And I meet most of them. And I think the one that's the hardest for me to hit is the 4,000 hours or whatever of view time. And it's like, okay, I'm close. I'm like 3,500 something, but it's like, you're just, so close, but yet so far away. So it's like, whatever. So I don't know. This is something like really YouTube. I'm sure you can afford to pay me the pennies that I would get, but
Yeah, sure. It's that's a different aspect as well. We haven't heard much of. Have you had any trouble with YouTube in particular, or Twitch for that matter, in terms of the content that you create?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think I know some other well, another YouTuber, Family Friendly Gaming. I mean, he's got a real successful YouTube channel. I think he's got like 200,000 subscribers and whatever. He got the what do you call it? Is it the Silver Star award, whether their plaque they send out or whatever the case, stuff, things like that. It's like, ooh, cool. But but he actually had his channel got striked or shut down or like demonetized or whatever, and he's had to fight, several times to do that, or to get his account restored or whatever, monetization result restored. So, but I just I just get the standard, "Hey, the game I streamed had music that's copyright protected, so whatever. They're gonna get whatever monetization I don't get anyway, so, whatever. No skin off my back. Take whatever you want. I have nothing.
Yeah,
Help yourself."
yeah. I think probably the hardest part is the growth for smaller channels, in terms of YouTube
Yeah.
and probably Twitch as well. It's just hard to succeed, get
Yeah,
recognized.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm always like, I don't know, I have a couple of I mean, I have a decent subscriber base, not that many, like, I mean, but most of the time, a lot of my people who follow, I'll do like, raffles, and so they'll subscribe for a chance to win a T-shirt and a Steam gift card. So it's like, okay, so if they visit the channel, great. If not, oh well, it helps the plus one, but it's like, all right, whatever. But um but it's like, yeah, it'd be cool to have. I mean, we do have we have some people who hop on, and it's funny, I think my kids are teenagers and they go to high school. And so now, some of their friends, like, I think they call us the Christ-centered family or whatever. And like some of the high schoolers will watch our videos and talk about it at school or something like that. And like, dude, your mom, or I'm like, I guess okay. Yeah. They're like, I guess the kids were talking about it. Like I did an unboxing for a body pillow or something like that. I was like, that's not for you. I'm like, all right. And like they're like talking to Amber, like, your mom, where'd you get that body pillow from? Or whatever. I ask my kids, when are you gonna do an unboxing or whatever? But it's just funny that they're that I guess we're somewhat getting known at this local high school. So I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that phenomenon of it mainly happens with teenagers creating channels and creating content where they have such a big fan base because they're at school and there's a lot of people who use YouTube there, because that's the age demographic for YouTube. It's high schoolers and
Oh
early
yeah.
20s. That they tend to grow a lot faster. They get past that first gap a lot quicker. First 100 or whatever subscribers, that is
Mhm.
part of the hardest uh, growth area in YouTube channels.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, first 100's hardest, and then 100 to 1,000 is a bit easier, but still difficult. And then from there on, it's um, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like I'll see my son. I mean, he watches it a lot. I'm like, why are you watching somebody else play a game? Why don't you play the game? You own the game. Why are you watching somebody? So and it's just like I think when if I like to I guess a lot of times I play games where I don't know adventure games or what or visual novels or whatever. I'll be like I'm trying to find like how do I get the best route or whatever. Some of them have like a built-in help system, but sometimes I gotta like follow a walkthrough online and every time I'll take a written article walkthrough over a video one because like I no I don't want to I just skipped too far now I spoiled what's coming. It's like no I'd like to see it in writing. It's like okay here's my dialogue choice. I mean now which answer do I pick A B C? It's like oh that's the one. So yeah so I still kind of prefer written content over videos
Fair enough. Well,
but it really depends. But yeah.
yeah, I might be able to answer why people watch YouTube content of playing video games rather than playing them. As someone who's reasonably laid back and maybe lazy might be the term, I prefer not to put in the effort to do that, actually playing of the game. And I'm quite happy just to sit back and let other people do it. And that's been my experience like most of my life because I haven't had any consoles or anything apart from the one I got when I was at college, I guess. I'm still not sure what
Okay.
to say when it comes to that because it's not called college here. It's we've got
Oh
Polytech.
sure.
But anyway, apart from I got a PlayStation 3 when I was there, and that was the first console that I owned personally. Otherwise, I've been a PC gamer, which meant that when I went over to friends' houses to play games, I'd just let them play, and I was happy enough to watch them play the game quite often. I don't. So,
Yeah, I think my husband's on the same thing. Or like my friends weren't really gamers, so it was just that. Yeah, so I had like my friends in high school, like they just kind of kept me level and just talking, not just straight talk or whatever. So it was kind of funny. I think one of the jobs I had, where I was like a technician at the school, and like it was a brutal review that I got, but I learned from it, and they said, "Hey, Cheryl knows what she's talking about. Nobody else does." And it's just like, oh. All right, that's good constructive criticism. I can learn from that.
yeah,
So yeah, which I would appreciate like on the YouTube videos because it's funny. Is like I look and I'm like, why did this get 50% unlikes? Why don't people tell me what am I missing? What don't you like about the videos? And just like thumb up, thumb down. Like, well, what can I do better?
Mhm.
So yeah, so like I guess if you're gonna criticize or something or something, let me know how I can improve.
Mm.
And that's like a big part of our website is growing Christ-centered gamer is that a lot of times we would get our reviews poked fun at, but they probably wouldn't realize that I was on whatever I was able to find the threads talking about it, but I was like, okay, so let's fix that, let's make this part better, let's do this better. And now it's to the point where if one person's critiquing it, someone's gonna say, yeah, but you take away that part, the rest of the review is awesome, or something like, or people are like, non-believers are actually defending it, or they reach, like, hey, no, this is a good quality review. If even if you don't agree with the moral aspect, the rest of the review is great.
Mm.
So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. And it's good that you've got that kind of fan base, I suppose you call it now, that
Yeah.
is willing to defend you. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, I guess trust is fickle though, right?
Mm.
So I mean, it's just I guess the more people know about you though, like the bigger the spotlight. So you just you gotta have the integrity. I mean, if anything, people, especially with the GamerGate thing. I mean, people were digging, trying to find something, and it was funny because um I actually we have a review of a game that I made, but I wasn't the one who reviewed it. And people from my like the reviewers at the time, like they didn't want the pressure of like reviewing a game and hurting my feelings or anything. I'm like, no, just be honest. I don't care. No, we're gonna do it. So I pushed my neighbor across the street, and like, hey, will you review this for me? And then yeah, I think he wanted he's towards a school project or whatever. And then when the Gamergate thing happened, and then they're like, "Hey, that's really like, that's really shady integrity. Like, hey, who's the reviewer of this?" And I'm like, "Well, the kid was about 13 years old when he wrote it. He's still not an adult, so therefore I'm not gonna dox him. So you guys can just take it for what it's worth, or But I wasn't the one who reviewed it. But there it is. I put a big, I emphasized the disclaimer. And I'm like, okay, well here you guys go. This is what happened. But yeah, so it's just kind of you just gotta be honest, and that's what we state in all of the reviews. Hey, thank you so and so for providing us this code, game code or whatever. And like, I think I got once sent like a mobile game, and it was a free game, which we usually try to avoid free stuff because you know what? If something's free and you don't like it, uninstall it. You lost nothing but a few minutes of time, hours, whatever. It's just the paid for stuff that we don't besides we don't have the resources or time to cover every free game out there. But like in this free game that we reviewed, I got a box of crap. I like thank you for, and I listed out like the 10 things that they sent me. Like put everything on there. Like thank you for this and that and this and that and that. And that. All right, now onto the game. And
Yeah.
here's what's good about this game, and here's what's bad about it. And yeah, it turned out to be like it had like such a it had like a gotcha. Like you can get so far before having to spend money, but like once you got to that threshold, it's like yeah, I'm not spending money on this. But yeah, just it's like one of those kind of Candy Crush kind of things, I think. But
Okay. So you made a game. Do you want to talk about that?
uh, sure, yeah. So yeah, so it's kind of funny. I felt really bad. So there was a Christian developer that sent me the game to review, and it was a small team, and it was it kind of had like a first person perspective, but like the way you were like riding like in a chariot or whatever. But and granted, I've been playing first person shooters for a while, and none of them ever really got to me, except VR. Sometimes VR I can get nauseous, but
Mm.
this was pre VR, and this game was making me nauseous. I was getting like motion sickness playing this game. I'm like, I mentioned it in the review. I'm sorry. I had never really had this happen before, but this game made me nauseous. And it's not meant to be like a dig or anything. It was just the animations were so herky jerky. Like you're like Trevor's like it's like, oh my goodness, I can't. I just can't play this game. I'm sorry. And I felt bad, and and then it's like, all right, fine. So I'll make a game. now I can be in your shoes, right? I'll make a game. I'll get it reviewed out, and then I could say like, this is what you put some time in something, throw it to the wolves and see what happens. And now I can say at least, hey, I've been there. I know what you're doing. I know what it's like. I get a little bit of that. So yeah, it was it kind of helped me. The game I made was called Break Out the Bible, so it's a breakout theme game with different. It goes to the different books of the Bible and stuff like that. So it gets a little challenging, but I think it used to have an online score, a leaderboard thing, but I think that part broke. So, but the game is still playable. But yeah, so that was why I just wanted I'm like, all right, I felt so bad for lambasting this game, and it was a small team and whatever, but I
Mhm.
just can't. Fine, I'll walk a mile in your shoes, and then it'll make me think twice before speaking negatively about a game. But I just felt bad, but it was just my genuine things. Like, dude, I got nauseous playing it. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, that's how it is. I have dipped my toes into content creation before as well, and I mean game making in particular. Um, with I made a couple of mobile games. One of them's called the Big Red Button, but it's literally just a clicker game where you press a button, but there's a bar that goes back and forth, and you have to click it at a certain time in order to get the
Oh,
money to
okay.
buy the next upgrades. So there's a little bit of a twist, but not much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
and
That's fun.
tried a few things, but I haven't got back to it yet. So I am planning to at some point for those who may be listening. Um, anyway, so the
Yeah, I'm
question
gonna
I
I'm
actually
gonna
missed
focus
out
on
on.
playing them.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna focus on playing them from now on.
Yeah. Cool. So the question I missed out, I got halfway through and what's happening, was what would you say are the best and worst parts of content creation?
Um, I guess I mean I like playing. I really enjoy. It's cool when people are watching me on Twitch and giving feedback. I like interacting with gamers while I'm playing. So that part's kind of cool. Um, so yeah, so that's really cool. And I think just the one of the worst things about it is I guess, yeah, if you just get you get some trolls and stuff. So yeah, sometimes I'll be playing a Twitch stream and somebody posts some spam in my chat. I'm like, oh, well, that's lovely. But I think they have some pretty good auto moderation things. So I think a lot of the spam YouTube comments are automatically deleted, so I don't have to worry about it. Or I still get email notifications, but it's like, yeah, that's gone already. Okay, no worries. But yeah, I guess just the parts is if there's I don't mind criticism, but if there's just hate just for nothing, just someone messages oh, go die, go F yourself or whatever. It's like, "Oh, okay, that was constructive, whatever." It's just whatever it is. So that's about it. So just being, when you're out there online, wherever, or I guess it's just online, there's just that there's just that sense of security. You can say something to people with no repercussions, generally speaking. So it's like the online bravery or whatever you want to call it, anonymity. But whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still surprised at how much spam there is. Like I've streamed to literally no one, and there's spam come up because they just quickly go on, put the spam, and then leave. They don't
Mhm.
stay long enough to register as a view. Um,
Yeah.
it's crazy stuff. I was actually talking on in the last interview, I suppose the last episode, about that with the Kiwi lads, uh, some local guys here. But anyway, last big question: do you have any big plans for future content?
Uh, no, I mean not really. I mean we have kind of we're trying to stick to a regular streaming schedule, so um it all depends on what's kind of what games are given to us. I mean, we have so much to review. I don't really buy games very often. I have a hard time justifying that. It's like, why buy a game when I literally woke up this morning and I had two games sent to me that I didn't even ask for. So it's
Mm.
like, all right, whatever. Um, so I guess it's just a matter. Sometimes, most of the time, some of the big companies, like let's say Nintendo or Square Enix. I mean, that sometimes few times they will give us a game to review, but most of the times they just ignore us, which is really kind of funny. I tested how well they ignored us.
Mhm.
I think I still have it on the site. I have to look, but we have like we were hosting AM2R, the Metroid remake that they like totally were DMCAing people or cease and desisting people from hosting, and
Mhm.
they never said a word to us about it. So it's like, "Oh, okay, they really do ignore us."
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so I thought it was kind of funny, but yeah. So I mean, I guess if we get any cool big titles, I don't know, but we stream pretty much whatever's sent to us, and if there's a big game, um, I've done like uh, I somebody or sometimes people will gift us something. So like I did stream Cyberpunk
Mhm.
2077 on I think maybe day 1 or whatever, and not playing it beforehand, and I didn't do a good enough job adjusting the settings. I streamed it with like full chest, I maybe just like character creation, and it was funny. Like I guess they start the characters completely naked or whatever, and that was the
Mm.
default setting. I'm like, oh,
Right.
I gotta edit this video. I gotta blur out all these different sections now, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Good thing I didn't have like, I guess this is like we're one of the good things where you don't have like millions of subscribers or whatever. And I didn't
Mm.
have to send out a million apology emails to like, a million angry parents or whatever. How did you stream this? I didn't know. But anyways, so I guess there are some blessings to being a smaller content creator. But I get yeah, so nothing huge unless we get something like really cool sent to us to unbox or any huge AAA games to stream. But yeah, you never know. I mean, we get some, random stuff sent other than, body pillows, but we get like controllers and I get like Nintendo Switch cases and I don't know. All kinds of headsets, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm like swimming in microphones and headsets and keyboards, all
Oh,
kinds of stuff.
sounds like you've got lots of choice then for streaming. And
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's like it's like great. People like assume like, oh, you're on a website, you have YouTube, you must be making a lot of money. It's like, no, we got jobs.
yeah,
I can't convince the bank to accept microphones and headsets as mortgage payments yet. So it just doesn't work.
no. So with the reviews, do you end up doing a lot of indie games in that because of the that's
Yeah,
accessible?
we do. Yeah, I don't know how, but like I got sent. So sometimes we're on good terms with certain publishers. Um, Atlas we're on pretty good terms with MMPR. Um, and so we get a lot of and like I usually like the company that makes like indie games indie game ports publishes them like Ratalaika. If I ask them for a game, I'll pretty much get it. Um, so but now I seem to be getting like emails like directly from like, hey, I made this game. Took me 4 years to make it. Will you please review it? It's like, oh, okay. And so I'll throw it on the list, and and I have like reviewers. I have like volunteer reviewers and paid reviewers. So I let my volunteer reviewers cherry pick. So like they'll take a game, they could pick. Where my paid reviewers, I'm like, I've been sitting on this code for 6 months. You're doing that one next, or whatever. So but yeah, but a lot of them, I would say probably at least half if not more of the games I think are probably indie reviews.
Yeah, that's cool. As a fan of indie games, I'm happy about that. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Like and again, like I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, indie stuff is cool. They gotta get amplified out there. But I think when it comes to YouTube and stuff like that, people are gonna be more tuned into AAA titles. I think that's just it's sad reality,
hmm, yeah,
but hopefully, I mean, by getting our reviews out there and like usually, if I post a newer game review, I mean, it'll go on our Reddit and help it boost it that way. But we also go out and get on like gaming sites like N4G, Blues News, and stuff like that. So hopefully it gets some awareness out there. So we'll see.
nice.
But I do like to help them out a bit, help out the little guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I always find that the mechanics tend to be more varied in indie games. Like AAA games have a bit of a structure going on. They all tend to follow the same kind of rules, but indie games don't care. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that was my thing is like, we don't review too many quote unquote Christian games now. A lot of the Christian developers that we worked with have now kind of shifted to family friendly games and not necessarily Christian ones. And that was my biggest complaint is with Christian games. Even the same thing with Christian music, or maybe well, I don't know Christian movies, but like Christian music, Christian games are a lot of times just copycats or relabeled something.
Mm.
Like it's like okay, well, when rocks or Guitar Hero was big or whatever, then there was guitar praise for Christian. So instead of circles, it was triangles, but in Christian music, which I do admit the Christian music was catchy. Like I think I bought those songs or whatever. Okay, so it's a good soundtrack, but it's like, all right, well, this is not really original, but whatever. There was so many different like Bible quiz games. It's like, okay, another Bible quiz game. All right, fine.
Mhm.
It's like there's just so many kind of like not there wasn't a lot of creativity or something. It's
Yeah.
like and then yeah, like the same thing goes with a lot of Christian music. Like, oh, this artist sounds like this secular artist, or this would sound like this is a Christian Nickelback or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that has been. I think the Christian entertainment's got a bit of a bad name for that, hasn't it? And a lot of people talk about um, Christian entertainment. They think it's just rip off stuff with a Christian label put on it.
Exactly. Exactly, exactly. So it's like, all right, yeah. Well, and it was. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but it was earned. So I
Mm.
mean, and again, I do feel the Christian studios or whatever, but they don't have the budget of the AAA movies. So I can't. It's like okay, I get you're not going to have the special effects like the other ones have.
Yep.
So
Very good. Well, that's all the questions that I have for today. Thank you for joining this me in this dark corner of YouTube. It's
well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure talking to you.
been great having you on. And
Thank you.
I suppose before you go, where can people find you?
Oh, sure. Well, ChristCenteredGamer.com is our website there. And YouTube, and it's just YouTube/CCGR. Maybe at CCGR might work now too, since I did the handle thing, but either way. On Twitter, I'm a l- I have some I usually kind of keep my Twitter lighthearted. Like every night I'll kind of post something silly or maybe even dark humor. So Twitter, I can be found at Divine Games.
Cool. Oh, that's great. And to everyone who may be watching, remember to give ChristCenteredGamer your support. And until next time, have a good one. See ya. Bye.